Yat she Alexandria holiday inishia na kaden slid bilagana bashishtin ashida sheada bilagana dashanale ado nahokos betladzo gibit eket nsle. My name is Alexandria Holiday. I'm the current Miss Northern Navajo 2016-2017, and my platform is to sort of inspire the youth to take care of their elders, as well as spend more time with them so that they'd be able to be in touch more with their traditions. And I really like to enforce to the youth to learn their culture because of how important it is nowadays. And pageantry for the Navajo Nation and a lot of other Native American tribes is pretty significant because it helps us to promote our platforms. It gives us a voice in order to correct things in our communities. And something that's a big problem nowadays in our generation is that our youth doesn't really know how to speak Navajo or how to practice their culture and their traditions. Native American pageants, I guess, is one of the ways that we're able to get a voice out there to our communities, because they invite us to different events in order to speak and get into our communities to help our people and our elders and our children and the youth. So it's one of the ways that we can get our voices heard, pretty much. Pageantry hasn't always been this way. The first Miss Navajo pageants, Miss Navajo is one of the first that started, and back then, from what I've been told, they used to just have all these girls stand in a line, and then they used to just pick whichever one got the most applause, and they would just crown her Miss Navajo. And then it started to get more competitive. They started to showcase their tradition or showcase their skills that they had and the knowledge that they had, and they would just pick whichever one they thought would fit their community the best after that also. So it just continued evolving, and nowadays we have so many different pageants. We have like the school pageants, the different agencies, we have Miss Navajo, we have the communities, and there's a whole bunch of different royalty that we crown now, and they basically represent their communities, and they go out into the public and represent them in that way. And they've started to pick women or girls or the Braves even, that they thought would represent their communities the best, because they go out and they show their skills, they show their talents, and they speak to the people, and they want to be able to have a good voice that will represent them well and get out the word that they want to know, or they want their people to know. And so what I do is I go out into my communities, not just in the Northern Agency, but all over the reservation and even outside of the reservation. And I explain to them how important it is for our youth to know their culture, because our culture is sadly dying. And because we were put into boarding schools a long time ago, the elders and parents, they started to teach their kids English first, because it was a way that they could communicate with the outside communities and continue their education further, to come back to the reservation and then help our people. So they started to teach English first to their kids so that they wouldn't be criticized for it, they wouldn't be looked down upon for it. So our language is dying because of that also. And I'm trying to inspire the youth to go out and learn their language. So one way to do that is by going to visit their grandparents and just spending time with them and talking to them and learning stories, learning songs, learning traditions from them. And another way is when I go out into my communities or different events, I like to sing songs, and I've noticed that it catches the youth's attention. Whenever someone starts singing, they stop running around, they stop messing around, and they listen. And a few people have recorded me, and then they show their daughters or their sons, and then they send me videos of them singing my songs, and it makes me so happy because of that. And they're starting to learn a little bit of Navajo in that way. And they'll start saying, "Oh, Mom, what does this mean? Dad, what does this mean? Mom, how do you say this in Navajo? How do you do this? How come she wears her hair like that? How come she dresses like that? Mom, I want to dress like that too." So yeah, that's one of the reasons why royalty and pageantry is so important in our culture.